This is a term of the analysis of the research, where you take a big data set and you take things out. You turn things around, you're organizing around different columns, different tables. You see to look at from different angles. You look at from the bottom of your phone, you look at from the top, from the left, from the right, seeing which different elements will make sense for you from a very abstract level to a small level. Because you don't necessarily know what insights are hidden in the data, and it's up to you to bring them out to the surface. To bring these hidden secrets out to the surface, we're going to use a so-called pivot table. Many of you have not used pivot tables. It's one of the most powerful features Excel brings along, and it's your own data analysis tool. You don't need to study. Once you understand how it works, you can use a lot of things very quickly. And trust me, any analysis you will go through with pivot table because it's so much easier. It is a tool that sits on top of your data. It's not within the data. Anything now we manipulate the table itself, make changes. This is a layer on top, independent. And it has two areas. The red one on the right is your control panel. There you use the tick box to tell them, I want to see that column or the other one. And the table on the left, the pivot table summary data, will show you the result automatically. You don't need to copy and paste anything. You don't need to change anything. Whatever data you want and request from the system will deliver you automatically as a view, as an additional way of displaying to it. And you can change your mind, swapping around. And the beauty of that, it gives you full control of your data without changing the underlying data. It's a bit abstract. I'm going to show you that in a minute. This is probably one of the end stages of the workshop we're going through, but it has so much potential that I want to show you the potential you can go if you go through the end. That thing, this particular feature will save you a ton of work even on your day-to-day jobs. Let's explore our sales data and see what we can find. So what we're trying to do here, we're trying to insert, we're creating this pivot table, this additional layer. All you need to do is click on insert and see there's the pivot table button. If you click on that, the system will know automatically what to do. You have one table, select the table. It's already prepared for you. You don't need to change it. There's a lot of different options, but you don't need that. Just press a code and it will create the pivot table into a new sheet, into a new tab at the bottom. Now we have two. In a second, we have a third one. Here is the pivot table. You have the control field and your data. It's very important to know that your data, the raw data we have, is still there, hasn't changed. We added additional layer on top. The pivot table, which you see here on the right, has 5 different areas. It shows you all the different columns we have. These are the columns. Then we have 4 areas for filtering, for columns, for rows, and the values. It's like a table structure, the columns, the rows, and the values. And it's allowing you to control that. Where do you want to show that? And the way to do it is you're grabbing one of your columns with the mouse and drag them down. For example, you filter them down to look to the rows. What it will do, it takes the information, make them unique values and put them into one row. Now it can take another one, for example, total sales amount, and drag them into the value column. It takes the sum, and now you can see that the second column has added up automatically all the different lines for each area. So what I'm saying is that in this particular pivot table we create, we can see the different areas and the total number of sales that are made for this one. So you instantly can see, we made different amounts, and it looks like the highest amount we made in Albany with 22,000 compared to only 7,000 in Newmarket. You take this whole table with 2 clicks and you instantly get your result. And you can copy paste that into a PowerPoint and people will find that useful. You could say, how many items have been ordered? Instead, you're taking that field out and you're grabbing something else. For example, the order amount. And we can see in Albany, we sold around 460 items compared to only 92 in Howick. Interesting. And you don't need to end there. You can combine different fields. You can take the amount of things we sold with the total amount. So you can show them side by side. So you have the ability to grab the data you're interested in, pull them into your table without actually changing the table. It's up to you. Now, let's try to find a different one. Well, let's say we looked at locations, but we know we sold different things. We sold boxes, we sold paper. Okay, I know what area makes the most, but what item was very popular? How can I get that? You take the column out, you grab your item, drag it into the row, and now you can see the table has updated. So we're now listing the items we're selling, the sum of order, how many items were sold, and the total amount. Oh, it's a bit unordered. Maybe we can give it an order. Yes, you can sort within. All you need to do, again, the little triangle, remember from the beginning, sorting, you click in, you click on more sort option that give you to control, and I actually want to sort by the total number of sales. That's the column. That's what you take for sorting. Descending, I want to see the highest number first. Sorting, okay, and we can see, now it's ordered. Now we can see cables make a lot more money. We sell a lot more cables than clips and boxes and papers. Again, you haven't touched the data. That took 2 minutes. And what you did, you got sales number per area, sales number by product type. So you have, in a way, have two very important dimensions for me. Business boss, sorted, and it took you almost no time. Take a copy, a screenshot of that, put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and you're half done. But again, this is just raw numbers, summary numbers per field, but you can do more. And I want to show you something else what you can do. Let's take the item out and bring the area back in, what we had before. I just want the order of the total sales amount. This is now easier. Where did we sell most? Let's do the ordering. More filter ordering. Descending. I want to sell again total sales amount. Sum of total sales amount. I want to descend. And I can see the most amount of money we made in the North Shore. Now, let's see if we can get the month. What we're actually going to do is, maybe we can organize it. That's very cool. So now we have, let's change this slightly. I organize it by month, January to December, and we can see the sales number per month. And I took the additional column. I took a whole column and put it into the column row. So we now see the different areas, North Shore, South Auckland. And what I can see is that West Auckland is very cool, but we have gaps in here. There's nothing in here. We can see throughout the year, there are months where we sold nothing in West Auckland. We can see it's only 3,000. So the number we sold in total across West Auckland is low, but we can see it's not working a certain month. There's nothing. Maybe we forgot to pay for an ad in this area during that time. Maybe our sales team never has time to go to West Auckland. We're not selling enough there. From a business perspective, finding these gaps, these empty low values in these patterns in a table is the core element. You're trying to find out spikes, things that are unreasonably high, and you're trying to find out areas that are a lot lower. In this case, we found valleys. This shouldn't be zero. You always should be able to sell something. That is unusual, not predicted. What you can do now, you take a copy of that, put it into a PowerPoint presentation, and your boss and you can tell the boss we sell a lot of boxes, but when I look at the analysis, I can tell you we're not doing a good job in West Auckland. You did something wrong there. We need to do changes there. Again, you're trying to give him the data and the analysis, and then you can make suitable business decision on top of that. And in this case, the answer would be invest more in marketing in West Auckland. And where is it working? Oh, look at North Shore in January. We sold about 4,000 units, $4,000 on there. It's one of the highest numbers we have across the year. Whatever we do in the North Shore, it's working. In particular in January, it's working. So whatever we have done there, maybe we can copy over to West Auckland, where it's not working, in particular this month. And the pivot table allows you to do this manipulation without fear or damaging your data. All you need to do is you're dragging these different things around here, in and out from the column, from the rows, and from the values. And you have your place, and you have all the data available. In the table here, the data result will update. Again, I need to reinforce that. This is the raw data. Hasn't changed. You're basically looking through a particular lens, like a filter, and seeing what makes sense. You can change all that data here, and it will automatically reflect it in the pivot table. And the pivot table will be your friend because it gives you sorting and structure and helps you to find all these answers, and you can make your business decision. Naturally, that's a good representation, but still a lot of numbers. So that's why the next natural step is obviously to visualize your result.